Shutter Speed, Episode 4. There's one thing that you need in photography, and I found out a long time ago, if you don't have that one thing, you will not make it as a photographer. Stay tuned and find out what that is and how you can implement it into your photography hobby.
Do you love photography? Are you somebody that wants more out of your photography, to make money from your photography but don't know how to start? Welcome to Shutter Speed. Your host, Peter Spakowski, will guide you with tips, strategies, interviews, and know-how to start making money to pay for date night, new gear, or start a full-time career with your passion of photography. Let's get this show started. Here's your host, Peter Spakowski.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Shutter Speed. My name is Peter Spakowski, and I am your host. 4 weeks ago, we released the very first episode of this podcast. And although I've been podcasting for a pretty long time, over a year and a half, this is something I'm very excited about. This is something that I think that everybody can learn from and grow from and implement into their photography hobby. It doesn't matter if you want to start making enough money to pay for dinner out on the weekend, new gear, or make it your full-time profession. The tips and strategies that you need and the know-how I'll be discussing on this podcast. We've spent several of the first episodes filling you all in on who I am, how I got here, what I've been doing in the past. And if you haven't listened to those, I suggest you go back and listen to those today and download them. Listen to them throughout the week before episode 5 comes out. I think they're absolutely critical for the next few podcasts. But today we start focusing on you, your hobby, your love, and your passion for photography. In the last episode, we talked a little bit about where are we going with this 2mm Academy and what am I doing with my 2mm studios. I invite you to go and check out 2mmacademy.com. I'm building a tribe there. I'm building a community of like-minded people that want to do more with their photography, that want to make some money from their photography, whether it's a few $100 or several hundreds of thousands of dollars. Those are things that I'm going to be discussing on this podcast. So head over to there, sign up for my email distribution list, and you'll get the 5 top tips of how to start making money in photography by this weekend. And if you implement the strategies, you very well could be making enough money to pay for dinner by the weekend. So go and check that out. Sign up for my email list and I'll send you that download. I also have a poll. I'm building out this 2mm Academy and I want to build it along with people. So I'm giving them the information that they need. There's a community out there where we can talk to each other, but I'm also wanting to put together some training materials on the tools that I use. And I've got a poll out there, whether it's using scheduling software or proofing software or setting up your website or maybe attracting your first customer. Those are some things that I want to put together to help you get better in photography. So go out there, select the poll, and I'm going to take the poll into consideration on what products or what trainings I'm going to offer and when. Today we're talking about one objective that we need to have as a photographer. One thing that if you don't have it will cause you to really struggle as a photographer. I know, I've been there. I did not have this when I first started photography. I just went out and started taking pictures of everything, which was good. I learned a lot, and I suggest that everybody goes and takes pictures of everything. Go outside, look at the sunlight, look how the sunlight reflects on the different surfaces, how it reflects on different people, how it creates shadows on different buildings and items and people, right? Those are things that we need to do to grow as a photographer, no matter what it is that you do. But there is one thing that I just did not have, and I struggled. But when I found it, my business boomed and I really started doing very well at this business of photography, and implementing it really helped. It helped so much. And that one thing that you really need to have for your photography is a vision. What vision is it that you have for your photography? What do you want to do? You really don't want to be a generalist. You don't want to be somebody that shoots products, shoots weddings, shoots graduation pictures, shoots baby pictures, shoots family portraits. You really don't want to be that. You might enjoy all of that, great, but you really need to find what it is that you do as a photographer. You need to have a vision. There's a million photographers out there that shoot everything from weddings and parties to celebrations. Don't be that person. Find the niche that you really want to specialize in. Find that vision that you want to specialize in. A vision isn't just going out there and shooting headshots. A vision is going out there and shooting headshots with a certain look and feel. You need to have this strategy where people know what they're going to get. What is it that when they sign up and they pay you to take pictures of them, what are they going to get? When you're a generalist and when you shoot graduation pictures, people really don't know what you're going to get. But if you can put something out there that's consistent, that's of great quality, that is of great value, and also provides the person with a great experience, that's something that's going to set you apart. You need to have a vision of that. You need to have a vision of your photography, and you need to have a vision of the experience that you're offering for people. What is it that when they hire you and they meet you for the first time that differentiates you from everybody else? There's so many photographers that I see out there that are just like any other photographer. They're like, hey, hi, how are you doing? My name's Pete. I'll be taking your picture today. No, don't do that, right? Do something different. Do something that stands out. Do something that makes them laugh so you can start seeing what they look like when you go and do pictures of them. Do something that is really different. Have a vision for that. So use that strategy when you're setting up a vision. Give somebody something that they know they're going to get when they hire you. Make sure your social media represents that. Make sure your website represents that. You need to have a vision of what your business is going to be, and not just in the area of what type of photography you offer. There's a lot of different areas that you need to have a vision. So it's important to have a vision. Here are several areas where you need to have a vision. Okay, so number one, what type of photographer are you going to be? Just as I've discussed, you need to get very niche. You need to specialize in something. You can't just be a generalist. Generalists don't get the jobs. They don't get the high paying jobs. If you want to be a high-end photographer, which I think a lot of you want to be, you need to get very niche, and you need to provide the customer an experience, and they need to know what they're going to get when they hire you as a photographer. You need to transform that business. I mean, I was a life and leadership mindset coach, right? So I was very broad. I focused on many different areas from health and fitness to leadership. Now I'm starting to get very niche, right? I want to help people that have photography as a hobby, photography as a love, and help them to start making money from their business, from their passion, from the things that they love to do. How can you make money? And I don't care if it's just a few bucks or hundreds of thousands of dollars, like I've said multiple times. I want to help those people start making what they want, what they think they deserve, what they do deserve. People deserve more from their photography than what they even expect. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing people that are just shy. They don't know how to start. So I've transformed my coaching business, and I'm getting even more niche. I want to help people like that. I want to help people start making an income from their love of photography, stock photography, headshot photography, even wedding photography. You need to have a vision of what type of photography you're going to offer. Number two, you need to have a vision for who you want your clients to be. You don't want to just go out there to market to everybody. Take headshots, for example. Do you want to do pictures of actors to help them get their next role? Do you want to help key executives and business owners that want to be the face or the brand that they represent. Couples wanting to share and capture that special moment in their lives, whether it's having a baby, getting married, or getting engaged. There's so many things that are growing. So many people are now photographing their engagement pictures of when they actually proposed. I've never heard of that before. I've never seen that before. Most of the time, back in the day, people would just do it in private, or people would do it when they went out. They didn't do it in front of everybody, let alone have photographers there to capture the moment. It was more of a surprise. There's people that do very good job even making it a surprise, even with a photographer. Sometimes where the photographer is even in disguise and pretending to capture things out in the environment, whether they're taking pictures of birds, taking pictures of people on the street, and then, oops, hey, all of a sudden somebody's proposing, capture the moment. That photographer was hired and placed there to capture that moment. Maybe it's a photographer. This is an area that I specialized in, and this was the area where I first started off that really made me realize I needed a vision for my photography. I wanted to capture people's physiques. I wanted to capture them in the moment. I wanted to capture them on stage for something that they trained their entire life to do. I wanted to capture that moment on stage and represent them for all the hard work, all the power that they had at that moment when they were on stage. That's how I got started. That's how I started my photography business. I was in their shoes before. I knew what it felt like. And to this day, I wish I had more pictures of myself on stage. Even Arnold, one of the most photographed bodybuilders of all time, wishes he had more pictures of him when he competed. Now, given today with digital cameras, I'm sure somebody like Arnold would have 1 million pictures out there, multi-million pictures of him when he competed. But that's something that I wanted to do, and that's how I highlighted my vision. I wanted to capture the power and the hard work and the dedication that somebody had to get to that moment on stage, whether it was men's bodybuilding, men's physique bodybuilding, women's physique, women's bikini, women's bodybuilding. Those were moments that I wanted to capture. I loved capturing them on stage. I loved getting them out into the environment, where I captured them around the pool, or in Vegas, they had all kinds of like waterfalls around pools and stuff like that. Those were areas that I love to take photographs. Now I've grown, I've kind of set and expanded my business a little bit more. I'm now more of that headshot photographer that wants to capture that person for their business, for their brand, and really represent them in the best way. So many headshots are just awful, and just scrolling LinkedIn, I see how many CEOs have bad headshots, and I wanted to help fix that. So I went out and started developing more on the headshot side. So now I'm more of a headshot and physique photographer, but I have a vision for that. Those are the areas that I specialize in. Knowing your clients make it so much easier to find them. If you know you want to find CEOs and take their pictures, you can find them. If you want to take pictures of people that work on their physique, you can find them. You just go to any gym and you can find people doing that. On businesses, you just go to LinkedIn and you can find people doing that. You need to have a vision of who your client is. Maybe it's somebody that's pregnant and you want to capture them. Great. You can work out a deal with the local store that sells baby products and maybe advertise there. Maybe advertise on web pages where you're attracting an expected mother. If you know who your clients are, you have a vision for your clients, there's a better chance you're going to find them. And you have 100 times better opportunity of making an income once you find that person. Number 3, have a vision of what your work is worth. Have a vision of what you want people to be paying for your pictures. I doubt you want to be that person that charges $20 for a session fee and then $30 for a package that anybody can go to Target or one of the other stores that offer these packages for pictures. If you don't want to make a whole lot of money and you just want to pay for some new gear or maybe some meals, then great. That's what you want to be. Have a vision for that and go for it. You'll find a ton of business. You'll find a ton of business easy, and you'll be able to buy that new lens or that new camera body or pay for date night pretty easy. But know what your net worth is. Most people don't want to be that $99 specialist, right? They have a vision of what they want their photography to be worth, and you need to hold true to that. Set a vision for that, whether it's $250, $500, or $1,000 for your sitting fee, and then whatever it is for your packages, make sure you hold to that, right? Be consistent from customer to customer. Know what they're going to get. Some people want that person, that $750 for a session fee, $1,000 a session fee. But I'll tell you what, if you have somebody that's paying $99, you have to attract 10 clients to pay for that one that will pay for the $1,000 session fee, right? So what do you want to do? That frees up a lot of your time and you're making the same amount of money. So have a vision of what you want your photography to be worth, and then don't negotiate it. Know your worth and let the customer know what your worth is, right? I help people get jobs. I help people make tens of thousands of dollars more than what they made yesterday by offering them some of the best headshots that I can. That gets people's attention. It's not going to get them the job, but it actually absolutely helps them get noticed. It helps them get noticed on our LinkedIn, and it helps them get that next job. So I know my net worth of my pictures are great for my clients. They're going to earn more money. Maybe it's somebody that's doing physique. My pictures are going to help them make more money. I know my worth. I know what I charge for those pictures, because everybody that I do that for, they're going to make more money. So I know that, and that's what I hold to. Same thing if I'm out there doing graduation pictures, which I do from time to time. I know this is for somebody's enjoyment, right? So I have a whole different pricing, but I still know my net worth. I know my graduation pictures are better than 99% of the other people around me that do graduation pictures. There's so many people that I redo graduation pictures for. I know my net worth. I know what I want to charge, and I don't want to compete on the low end and have to get 10 customers equal to one or two of what I actually get. Number 4, have a vision of what you want to make per year. If you do that, it'll help you decide what you're going to charge per customer based on the number of customers that you average. Don't investigate what the average photographer makes. Most photographers are not full-time. They are hobbyists making a little bit of money, and that goes out there and it impacts the average. 90% of the photographers out there only do it part-time and do it once in a while as a hobby. So you can't go out there and investigate what a photographer makes, because it's greatly skewed, and it's greatly skewed towards the low end that will frustrate people. But I know people that want to go out there and make a lot of money. They make a lot of money. So don't investigate what the average photographer makes. If you're somebody that just wants to make enough to pay for lunch, dinner, or no new gear, that's fine. You can do it. I know you will. But if you are somebody that wants to make a living from photography, set your standards high. Don't settle for 100, 200, 300,000 a year. I highly recommend you shoot for $1 or $2 million in a year in photography related sales. You can do it. I know you can do it. And that might sound absurd to people, but if you go out there and your mind sets something, you can do it. You can make that much money. If you put in the work and you have the mindset to do it, you can do it. I've done that so much in my coaching business, where I encourage people to set the standard higher, and they're always going out there and making more money. Some of them, when they look for their next job, they'll be happy with $5,000 more. I push them, and it's like, no, set it for $100,000 more. You know how many people come back and say, hey, I got a new job. I'm making $40,000 more or $70,000 more a year. That's excellent. That's way better than the $5,000 that you set. The same thing in photography. You can go out there and set your standards, set them high. The sky is the limit on this. You need to set something high that's going to push you, that's going to drive you, and make all your dreams come true. You can do it. I know you can. That's why I'm starting this whole 2MM Academy. So if you're somebody that's just setting out that you just want to make $10,000 a year, $50,000 a year in photography, you're going to do it because that's what you're setting your standards to. If you're setting $10,000, you might make $2,000 to $15,000. Great. That's in your budget. That's in your goal. Whatever your goal is, you can do it. Just go ahead and set it and go out there and do it. Do the work. It's not hard to do in photography. There's so many different ways that you can create an income from photography. We'll be focusing on streams of income in future podcasts. Knowing your streams and income for each of those different streams will help you get to overall what you want to make per year. But it's important to have a vision of what you want to make per year for each of your visions, for each of your streams of income. The last one, number 5, is have a vision of where you want to go with your photography. What do you want to do? Write it down. So many goals are accomplished when you write them down, and then write it down and then tell people about it. If you write it down and tell people about it, you're so much more likely to accomplish it. Find somebody that's going to hold you accountable. Find a mastermind group that'll help hold you accountable and help push you to earn more, to help you get to the vision of where you want to be in your photography. What vision do you have for your photography? Do you want to be the best headshot photographer in the world? Do you want to be the best physique photographer in the world? Do you want to have 100 different stock items out on stock pages for people to purchase to make an income? There's so many different ways that you can make an income from photography. Decide where you want to be today, and then decide where you want to be in your future. Where do you want to go? I always knew that I wanted to do headshots once that area really became passionate to me. As I talked about in the previous podcast, I was sitting down watching Scott Kelby's The Grid, and Peter Hurley came on and talking about headshots. I've never seen headshots like his before, and I wanted to get to that talent and use his headshots to help drive my business. And it has. It's been fantastic. And he's a great mentor for that. But have a vision of where you want to go in your photography. Tim Wallace is another guy. This is an area I would absolutely love to get into. I would love to get into high-end automotive photography, not just the $10,000 or $50,000 vehicles. I want to get into the pictures of taking pictures of vehicles that cost over $100,000. McLarens. I'd love to have a McLaren. Porsche, one of my favorite brands of automobiles. That's an area I would love to take my photography, and that's an area that I do have a vision for in the future. So those are the 3 areas that I would love to do. I would love to do physique, I would love to do headshots, and I'd love to take pictures of high-end automobiles. So that's where I want to go with my photography. You need to have a vision of where you want to go with your photography. So again, let's summarize this again so you know the steps. This is a little bit longer podcast. So you need to have a vision of what type of photographer you are. What are you offering? Have a vision of who you want your clients to be. Who are you marketing to? Is it a CEO? Is it an expected mother? Is it a couple getting married? Who is your customers? And apply that to your marketing. Have a vision of what your work is worth. Know what you want to charge. Is it $50 mini sessions where you have 10 a month? Doing that, you can pay for a date night every single weekend. It's not hard to do to get that many either. Have a vision of what you want to make per year. And then the last one, have a vision of where you want to go with your photography. Do you need help setting vision in any of these areas? This podcast and the 2mmacademy.com website are here to assist in your endeavors of where you want to go with your photography. I want to help. So as I talked about earlier, I want to help provide knowledge, education to you. So go out to that website and let me know. There's ways that you can communicate with me if you go out to 2mmacademy.com. Let me know what you want to hear on this podcast. Let me know what types of tutorials you want me to create to help build your photography business. Let me know what I can include on my circle community where we can discuss and help people grow in their photography. There's things out there where if you post a picture on my circle, I can critique it for you. Others can critique it for you. There's so many different areas that I want to help offer you areas to grow. But go out there, check those out, sign up for my email list, subscribe to this podcast. Those are ways that you not only help me, but you'll get the knowledge that you need to help grow your photography business. Continue to do that. I'm excited about what we're offering here. I'm excited about these podcasts, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you and hear the stories of success where I'm helping you do things that you didn't realize you could do with photography.
Thank you for listening today. We would love to hear from you and would love you to engage with the community. For more tools, tips, and know-how, head over to the 2mm Academy at 2mmstudio.com and join us.